Now I get a call from Oprah Winfrey. Hey, Emmanuel, you have any time later today? Her team says. I'm like, do I have time for Oprah? Duh, I have time.
Your book is so inspiring. You create conversation. You're bridging divides. Do you love what you do? I mean, I know you say this is your calling, but do you love what you do?
What I do is very fulfilling. I find love in what I do, but I never fall in love with what I do, if that makes some sense. Like I find love in mending broken and fractured relationships. I find love in seeing people being enlightened and seeing hearts turn. I find love in seeing people that are on the verge of ending relationships because they have a communication issue about race. I find love in seeing that being mended, but I'm not like in love with that. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I'm not in love with the work of it all, because contrary to popular belief, you can get tired from doing a good thing. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people are like, well, Emmanuel, when's the next episode? When's the next this? When's the next book? And I'm like, y'all do realize, like, this is still work, and this is my secondary job. So I'm not in love with it, but I find love in it.
Mm-hmm. That's a very, very eloquent distinction. Is that like when someone tells you, like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you?
Did you just break up with us?
I'm like, except Linda, that's usually before a breakup.
Yeah.
So where have you found love that has been the most surprising for you?
That's really good. I think that what I am probably in love with is kind of communicating with people and seeing like their lives turn, or hopeless people finding hope, or people that lack joy finding joy. Like that's what truly makes life worth living for me. I grew up in the church, so I'm big on my relationship with God. I'm big on my relationship with Christ. Like I'm in love with those things, with people really figuring out what life is all about, with people finding their callings, not just running on this hamster wheel of trying to earn all this money, to spend all this money just to earn all this money. But I'm in love with finding purpose. My first episode of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, I released it on June 1st. And 5 days later, I get a call from a no-caller ID number. It's Matthew McConaughey. And I pick it up and he's like, Acho, McConaughey speaking. I want to have a conversation. I'm like, McConaughey? Like Matthew McConaughey? He's like, yeah, man, I'd love to talk to you. I said, well, I'm recording episode 2 in about 4 days. He says, let's do it tomorrow. Oh, okay, McConaughey wants to do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. So now get this. So now, Drew, I record episode 2 with McConaughey the next day, and it drops. Now I get a call from Oprah Winfrey. Hey, Emmanuel, you have any time later today? Her team says. I'm like, do I have time for Oprah? Duh, I have time. And so, but that was another no-caller ID number. And the next no-caller ID number was Oprah Winfrey. My last no-caller ID number call I got was from the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell. And so, Drew, I say this. Your calling will call you. Pick up. See, because my calling, Matthew McConaughey, calls me Saturday morning, no caller ID. Then Oprah calls me and says, hey, I want to partner with you on a book that I hear that you're writing. Then Commissioner of the NFL calls me, all no caller ID numbers, which typically we look at and we ignore. But my calling called me, and I just happened to pick up. Now, that's a play on words, but it's actually literal. The moment of the murder of George Floyd in 2020, I didn't want to have these conversations. That's why early on, either Drew or Linda, you asked me, do you love it? Like, not really. Like, I don't love having to talk about race, but the moment called me to talk about it. And I just said, here I am, I'll answer that call.
How do you have a conversation with people whose ears and hearts are not open? Because people who are here to listen to you and watch your videos, they already have the perspective of, okay, I want to learn something, I want to do better.
You do 2 things. Number 1, you remember, don't throw pearls to swine. Meaning, don't give your heart and your energy and your attention to someone who is unwilling to receive it. If they are willing to listen, but they aren't yet ready to digest it or hear it, that's fine. But don't waste your energy on someone who's gung-ho about being combative or being willfully ignorant. Now, after you understand that, I would start with facts. Because, Linda, you can't debate factual information. If I told you that, 2 + 2 = 4, well, no, Emmanuel, it equals 5. It equals 3. No, no. I'm not talking about your feelings. I'm talking to you about a fact. And so when you start talking about racism, some of the facts are that a person with a white sounding name is twice as likely to get the job than the person with the black sounding name, assuming the resumes are equal. See, those are the facts. You can't debate the facts. So I would start with facts. Here's a problem in our society. Our problem in our society is that we're so quick to want to dismiss someone if they make just one little mistake or even one large mistake. If they say something that we don't agree with, or if they mess up, we just want to wash our hands with them. But the problem is that doesn't allow anyone room to grow or change their opinion. I've used this example before, Linda. Imagine when we used to believe that the earth was flat. Now imagine after we got more information and said, no, the earth isn't flat, it's round. Heck no, you said the earth was flat. You're an idiot. We're not listening to you ever again. That to me is how silly cancel culture is.
Yeah.
Allow people to gain more information and change their opinion. Now, I think we have to assess the difference between intention and action. If someone's intention was evil, then I am more understanding of canceling them. If the intention was pure, but the action was evil, that's different. For example, Linda, I got an email when I first started Uncomfortable Conversations. Emmanuel, I just thank you so much for speaking to me about race. I don't have very many colored friends, and so this really helped. They didn't mean anything by it. So I didn't cancel them. I simply said, hey, please use the term black, as some people will deem colored offensive, and we don't use that anymore. And she's like, oh, I apologize. I meant nothing by it, et cetera, et cetera. Let's not cancel people who are well-intended. Let's educate them so we can move forward together.
I hope we can continue more conversations in the near future, and all the best with everything that you're growing, and thank you so much for everyone that you're inspiring.
Yeah. Thank you so much for spreading love.
Thank you all. The pleasure was mine. Until next time, my friends.